Chapter 5 of Uncle Tom's Cabin opens with Mr. and Mrs. Shelby relaxing at the end of a long workday, and they're just reminiscing about the accomplishments of the day and just unwinding. And Mr. Shelby is in a large easy chair, and he's just looking at some letters and finishing up his business for the day. And Mrs. Haley confronts him and says casually, I saw this lowbred fellow who was talking to you today. Who is he? What business does a guy like that have on our property? And Mr. Haley instantly realizes what she's talking about, and he tries to downplay it. He's not ready to just tell her the truth. But Mrs. Haley is very tenacious, and she keeps on pressing him. And she said, was he a slave trader? And she says, Eliza was nervous. What was up with this visit? And Mr. Shelby doesn't know what to do. He's caught between two opinions. He doesn't know if he should tell her, and he starts to he looks back at his newspaper, but he turns it upside down because he's so overcome with his thoughts. He isn't aware that he's actually reading a newspaper that's upside down. So Mr. Shelby tells his wife that his business is in huge trouble and he has a lot of debt that he can't pay off, and he was forced to sell his slaves Tom and Harry. And Mrs. Shelby just cannot believe this. She's in some ways more distraught than Tom was, and she says that Tom has been with you forever. She tries to intercede on Tom and Harry's behalf, and she reiterates how Tom is a noble-hearted servant, and she says we need to make a pecuniary sacrifice. She's willing to pay money if she can, because she feels like she's betraying Eliza. She taught Eliza, her personal servant, all these Christian principles, and now Eliza is going to think that all these teachings were in vain and that her masters are really hypocrites. And Mr. Shelby reiterates that there's no choice. They cannot do anything except sell them. And Mrs. Shelby then says, and I quote, "This is God's curse on slavery, a bitter, bitter, most accursed thing, a curse to the master and a curse to the slave. I was a fool to think I could make anything good out of such a deadly evil. It is a sin to hold a slave under laws like ours. I always felt it was. I always thought so when I was a girl. I thought so still more after I joined the church, but I thought I could gild it over. I thought by kindness and care and instruction I could make the condition of mine better than freedom. Fool that I was." So she feels that even though it's wrong, by treating her slaves better than they would have an experience in freedom, she's somehow exempted from this condition. And Mr. Shelby doesn't want to face Tom, so he says, when this slave trader comes to take Harry and Tom, why don't you take Eliza away so she doesn't see this, and I can't face Tom anyway, so I'll just head off somewhere. And Mr. Shelby says no, she's not going to be an accomplice in any way. She said she's going to go to see Tom in his distress and try to make it up to them. And what Mr. and Mrs. Shelby don't understand or know is that Eliza once again overhears this conversation occurring, and she becomes pale and she starts to shiver uncontrollably. She looks over at her son, who's lying on the bed sleeping, and as he's sleeping, a little smile steals across his face, and in that instance, her maternal instinct kicks in, and her fight or flight kicks in, and she realizes, I will do anything to save my child. So she doesn't forget to pack his favorite toys, one of which is a little stuffed parrot. And as she's gathering him and all their belongings to flee, Harry wakes up and asks her in this fatigued stupor, "Where are we going?" And she tells Harry, "Harry, an evil man is coming to take you away." And he's half asleep, so he can't comprehend what's actually going on. But in vague terror, he clings to her neck as they make their way out, and old Bruno, which is the dog that Eliza has no doubt known since childhood, hears and he follows them. And Eliza, with Tom, steals away to Tom's cabin. And as said in prior chapters, there was a prayer meeting going on in Uncle Tom's cabin with all the inhabitants on the Shelby estate. And it happened so long and went long into the night. So Tom and Aunt Chloe aren't yet asleep. They're still processing the events of the prayer meeting. And Eliza knocks on the door and steals in, and they realize, Eliza, what are you doing here? They see that she is distraught, and they know something is up. And she explains everything that has just occurred, how she's overheard the slave trader talking with Mr. Shelby and about the debt Mr. Shelby is in, and how he has no choice but to sell Tom and Harry. And Tom is falling into a chair in disbelief, and through it all, he says that it's his duty, and he says that he can bear it. He says that he's never let Mr. Shelby down, and it would be wrong of him to run away. And this is the character of Tom. It's very upright. And I'll read what happens. Tom slowly raised his head and looked sorrowfully but quietly around and said, No, I ain't going. Let Eliza go. It's her right. I wouldn't be the one to say no. 'Tain't in nature for her to stay, but you heard what she said. If I must be sold or all the people on the place and everything go to the rack, why let me be sold? I suppose I can bear it as well as any on 'em, he added, while something like a sob and a sigh shook his broad, rough chest convulsively. Master has always found me on the spot, he always will. I never have broke trust nor used my past no ways contrary to my word, and I never will. It's better for me alone to go than to break up the place and sell all. Master ain't to blame, Chloe, and he'll take care of you and the poor. And at this moment, he turns and sees his bed with his sons in it, and he is crying and sobbing as he realizes that he will most likely never see his children again. And Eliza says farewell. She knows she has to escape to Canada. And the same day, she saw her husband, and her husband ran away. So she says, I may never see my husband again. If you ever see him, please tell him to be good, and so he could try and meet me in the kingdom of heaven. And with that, she glides noiselessly away on her journey to Canada.